Far From Home is now out in theaters. If you have not seen Spider-Man Far From Home, please do not watch this video because I'm going to spoil the shit out of it. This is my spoiler review for Spider-Man Far From Home. You have been warned. From here on out, spoilers. So as I said, I thought the movie began a little strange because it begins with that whole scene from the first trailer where Mysterio's just like, you don't want any part of this. And then he starts to fight an elemental, and Nick Fury and Maria Hill show up there, and then it just cuts to black, and then you expect the next scene to be something Spider-Man related. Like a scene from the trailer that's not actually in the movie is Spider-Man fighting a bunch of thugs at a restaurant. Yeah, not in the movie. But no, this is where the pacing's a little wonky because it just jumps back and forth between high school, people dealing with the fallout of Endgame, and then probably like 30 seconds later, they're already on their field trip to Europe. That's really where the pacing was a little wonky. Where it starts to pick up is when Mysterio first shows up in Europe, and he's fighting Hydro Man, even though he's not really called Hydro Man. That's where the movie starts to pick up a lot. And let's talk about Mysterio for a minute, because as I said in my spoiler-free review, I wasn't sure the direction they were taking Mysterio, because there was always this theory going around. Mysterio was gonna create these things, make himself out to be a hero, and then he was gonna get pissed off when Spider-Man took them all down, and he was the actual hero, and that is what would make Mysterio become the villain. Or there's that whole thing in the trailer, and my cousin pointed this out. Nick Fury tells Spider-Man that there's a multiverse. And then my cousin's like, yeah, but why would they introduce the multiverse 23 movies into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It just doesn't make sense how it would just pop out of nowhere. I was like, oh, good thing. It's kind of like my feelings with them bringing the X-Men into the MCU. I'm just like, well, like, have there been mutants this whole time? Like, mutants just popped out of thin air? I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to do that. That's a totally different story for a whole nother time. And then going off of what my cousin said, he's like, yeah, the whole theory is that, like, he created these things, and it's all bullshit, because Mysterio is an illusionist. He's a mastermind of trickery, and that's exactly what it is. This whole thing is complete bullshit. The multiverse doesn't exist. These elementals don't exist. And when you find out Mysterio's motivation, it's a lot clearer, because in the movie, Peter gets this set of glasses called Edith, and apparently Quentin Beck created that technology, but then Tony Stark perfected it and kind of stole it. So he was mad at Tony Stark, and then Tony Stark ended up firing Quentin Beck. So now he has all this motivation. He's got a whole team of people creating the Mysterio illusion. I love the scene in the bar where he takes the glasses back from Peter. I forget exactly what he says, but he's like, all right, who's ready to party? Or something like, I don't know. It's something like that. That scene is brilliant. The scene I thought was kind of weird was when he was explaining his motivation, because it's just Jake Gyllenhaal holding a beer, just going through his whole team, and he's like, you help me, and this is what we're gonna do to get back at Tony Stark, this is what we're gonna do to get back at the Avengers, and shit like that. So, yeah, I'm Quentin Beck, I'm Mysterio, you all are gonna help me, and you're not gonna get paid for it. Something like that, you know, that's really what it felt like. That scene in the middle of the movie is one of my favorite scenes in the entire MCU, and this is what I was saying in my spoiler-free review, that the MCU just has outrageous, zany scenes like this now in a lot of their movies, and that scene is when Spider-Man first fights Mysterio. He enters an illusion. Kind of reminded me of Scarecrow's nightmares from Batman Arkham Asylum, and that scene I thought was brilliant. That was definitely the best scene in the movie, just watching Spider-Man fail and fall. I'm trying to think exactly how that scene ends, if that's when Spider-Man gets hit by the train. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to go back and see the movie sometime this week. I just really, really love that scene. I'm gonna go back and watch it again Tuesday, or tonight rather. I love the chemistry between Zendaya and Tom Holland. She plays MJ. Peter Parker obviously is Tom Holland. Their chemistry in this movie is so well realized. I love the scene at the end where they actually confess their feelings to each other, because it's done so beautifully, and it just captures their chemistry so well. There's a lot of funny stuff in here, though, with his friend Ned and the young Betty Brant. Oh my god, some of that stuff had me dying laughing, because Ned and Betty Brant somehow enter a relationship, and that's what makes it hilarious. Like, that was a totally unexpected element of the movie. With that, we had the mid-credit scene. I will say this. This is the first time I have ever seen a movie theater erupt like that. Whoa. Since I live in Boston, it's like another one of the Boston teams just won a championship. That's how crazy the theater went. And the mid-credit scene basically shows Spider-Man, which, before I even say this, Peter actually reveals to MJ that he is Spider-Man. So the mid-credit scene shows Spider-Man swinging with MJ through the city into Times Square, but then a news report in Times Square comes on with footage from Quentin Beck, because apparently, like, when Spider-Man was fighting his drones at the end, one of the drones shot at Spider-Man and ricocheted to Quentin Beck, but Quentin Beck films it to make it look like Spider-Man actually killed him. And then and so it's going through all that, everybody's kind of worried, he's kind of painting Spider-Man out to be the bad guy, and you can see the worried look on MJ's face. But then you have like the Daily Bugle logo, and I was like, oh, cool, that's a little Easter egg. And then all of a sudden, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson pops up, and the theater just goes nuts. I'm telling you, it's the best kept secret in all of Hollywood. It was so well done. I was going nuts as well. It's something we've all wanted for a very long time. And we finally got it. I don't care if he played J. Jonah in the Raimi movies, which aren't canon to the MCU, but he is back, which means he's probably out of the DC Extended Universe. And God, get him out of there, because this is where he belongs. He was born to play J. Jonah Jameson, and he's back as J. Jonah Jameson. The post-credit scene, I don't know what it was. I actually didn't stay for the post-credit scene because the screening process at the downtown theater, it was a mess. They confiscated our phones. The people in front of us, they wanted to put their phones with us, so they put it in the same bag. They were a little bit younger than us, so they didn't want to hang around for the end credits. They wanted to just go get their phones, so we went to go get our phones. So I have no idea what the post-credit scene is. When I go see the movie again, I'll get to see it. So that's really all I have to talk about with Spider-Man Far From Home. Just a lot of the Mysterio stuff, definitely the mid-credit scene, the fact that Peter reveals his identity to MJ, and that's all I got to talk about. That's my spoiler review for Spider-Man Far From Home. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I will leave all my links to my social media accounts in the description below. Thank you for watching. As always, you guys are the best. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.